Joining us right now, don't know how I segue out of that, the owner of the Sacramento Republic, along with his team. That includes Matt Alvarez, of course, Ron Burkle, and the rest of all the wonderful people that have gotten the Sacramento Republic to this point. And yesterday, though no one is certainly declaring victory at this point, certainly it was a good day for Sacramento Republic fans and fans of the city of Sacramento in general. Kevin Nagle joins us. Good morning, Kevin. How are you? Yes. It is, yes. Yeah, more like, it's more, I would say the latter. It's more like the van. We're more like the van that just rolls around. And
you know the scene in Mad World where they drive the car off the cliff and it just shot right out there? That's
kind of us.
That
More
kind
that
of
than
drive.
Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate that. That's going to be a promo. Kevin, I full disclosure, I had a conversation with you yesterday afternoon, and I remarked that of all the people that were close to the situation that I spoke to yesterday, waiting on the Board of Governors and anything they'd say, I felt like your heart rate was at like 35. You were just, this isn't your first rodeo. I completely understand that. And I think in this situation, again, it's one of those, not a victory, but certainly a step in the right direction.
No, it definitely is. Excuse me. First of all, if it's 35, I'm worried because
Right.
I don't have a blood pressure either, probably.
Yeah.
No, I think just as everybody's reading and seeing, this is one step closer. There's no question. I think it was a great day yesterday for Sacramento sports. Really, Sacramento, the region. I believe, and this is just me speaking for myself, not for my partners. I believe that we're capable of doing in the next coming days and weeks. We will have an MLS soccer team, but that's going to be on us.
Right. There's still, it was described to me, and I know this isn't a perfect analogy, Kevin, but yesterday was like getting approved for a house. Like you get the approval kind of, but there's still so much work, like the financials and the paperwork and the credit reports and blah blah blah. That just because you get approved for the house doesn't mean you get the house, but you have a clear path to where if you do X Y Z PDQ, you're going to get the house.
Well, I think we'll see when we get there. I mean, I think they will tell us more in the coming days what the expectations are on presentations. We've made a presentation in the past, actually a number of them, but I believe this one will be much more formal. And they'll ask for, I think, some of the essentials that I think even the commissioner has spoken about. And I think I feel very good about most all those points, as I think our team does as well. And we'll be on our game in the coming days to sort of dot those I's and cross those T's and be ready when we go to New York.
I don't know about you. I imagine you and I are on the same wavelength here. All I really cared about was Sacramento getting in. But what I don't like is when cities are pitted against each other and you're almost forced in a position where you have to disrespect or downgrade the other city in their bid. And you all were all very classy, obviously, with Republican, your respect for St. Louis, who it appeared was our main competition for that 28th bid. But I really liked when MLS came out and said, okay, you know what, Sacramento, you're amazing, and we've been dancing with you forever. St. Louis, you've also got a fantastic bid. So rather than sending one fan base and one ownership group home unhappy, we're going to expand to 30. And it seemed like that opened the door for both us and St. Louis to get in. And it's almost like an everyone wins thing.
Well, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, look, the commissioner, I think, has been very clear about the growth of the league. I like St. Louis. They obviously have a legacy with Sacramento. Frankly, I think most of us were not ever really thinking about competing with St. Louis. I think inevitably they would get in just because it's a great city. It's really about what do we need to do to get in and become an expansion team with Major League Soccer. And that was really our primary focus. It has been our primary focus. We listened to the commissioner and everyone last year sort of a postmortem on what are the things we need to do. And I think we've gone out and we have done those things. And now it's, sprinting to the finish now.
Kevin Nagle, yeah, I would say Kevin Nagle, MLS. Kevin Nagle, Sacramento Republic. Hopefully, knock on wood, soon to be MLS. Joining us right now. So this isn't you're not going anywhere to a tropical island and kicking back with a Mai Tai or anything. This isn't kick back and relax. I don't want to say the real work starts now because I know how hard you guys have been working. But the second or third or fifth phase starts now, the final stretch. So I imagine there will be a lot of work between now and as late as July 31st in Orlando.
No, I think there's no question about it. I mean, we will, and they'll instruct us what to do. There'll be negotiations. Their contracts talk about there are all sorts of matters that we have to get resolved, and we'll have our team. I think we'll be in a very strong position. We feel like we have a great relationship with the commissioner's office, with a lot of the league representation, board of governors, and I think they all know that Sacramento is a great town. It's a great soccer town, and we can put out a great product for them. And I think that's what they're looking for. So I feel very good. We'll just stay focused. I mean, that's really the primary point is look, we're coming down the home stretch. Let's finish stronger than we can possibly think.
Kevin, one thing I tried to explain earlier, and I want to run it by you to see how right or wrong I got it. One of the things that was communicated by MLS yesterday is they're going to want, as part of that presentation or whatever it ends up being, obviously they'll look at stadium. And I know that our stadium situation is fantastic, and you've already done pre-construction work and are set to put shovels in the ground the day after we get approved. We've talked about this, and fan base is another aspect, and we don't even need to talk about that. We have the best fans in soccer. It's phenomenal. One thing that they mentioned was activating corporate partnerships. And what I tried to explain, Kevin, to the best of my knowledge, is that's basically presenting to them, hey, here's all the money that we have from our advertisers that are either already kicked in, A, B, are going to kick it up a notch once we go MLS, or C, I imagine you have some corporate partners that have said, we're in, but we're in when MLS is official. Is that in the neighborhood of correct as far as how you reach that goal and present that?
Yeah, you just described it, Dave. And, really, I would say this much. A couple weeks ago, just to demonstrate, I think, what the economic support of the community is by our business community, I made a small presentation sort of on the state of Major League Soccer, in Sacramento, kind of gave the Greater Sacramento Area Economic Council an update. And everybody was extremely enthused. Is those people who don't know, those are the largest cities in the Sacramento region and also national cities as well. I mean, everybody said afterwards, what is it we need to do? Fortunately, I could look around that room. There were at least 40 members on the business side. There were a lot of electeds in there as well. And I said, what is it that we need to do? We're in. We already probably had, I would say, at least half the representation of cities in the room, or I should say companies in the room where we already had existing contracts. That yes, they will be increased and expanded. And there are numbers of others as well that said as soon as you come online, we're in. So I mean, it's sort of a montage of what you described. Mm-hmm. But the reality of it is, any questions I think about, what is the strength of corporate support in Sacramento really should be a history. I think the Kings have demonstrated that. I think the River Cats have continued to have a very strong showing, and there's no question in my mind that will be a very strong asset, because I think the other two areas that you alluded to that they'll always still stay focused on are the fan base and also the stadium, which is really going to be fantastic.
And speaking of the stadium, just to kind of reiterate, I remember the ceremony, gosh, what was it, about a year ago, where you had machines out there and tractors and all that stuff, and we're doing a lot of that pre-construction stuff, basically saying, okay, look, we have site control, we're ready to go, all we need is approval. And I imagine, if not hours, within a day or two, after it becomes official, if it becomes official, again, knock on wood, I'm superstitious, you guys are locked and loaded on that stadium.
No, we are, and that is something that going back, a year, we made a decision. We're going to demonstrate and try to prove that we're mission ready. And I mean, the most significant thing are that we have all the appropriate permits to move, and we demonstrated because of the fact that we're moving dirt now, or we have moved dirt up to a point where that next step starts to become very significant. So I think that's one thing that the commissioner has to his advantage is, he's got a number of teams that are coming in the next couple of years. And if we do the things that I think that we're capable of doing and get in, it will give him and also Major League Soccer option to figure out where do you want Sacramento and what year do you want them? Because that's always a famous question people ask. If we get in, what is the year? Well, we don't know the answer to that. But the growth of the league has been so fast.
Yeah.
It takes time to find locations. You run into hiccups. Fortunately, we've done all that. And I think that, even if we had to, I think we could find, if we needed to come early, we'd find a location in Sacramento, which we've already identified. If to come in early, we'd play there while our stadium is being built.
Kevin Nagle joining us. Last thing for you, we were talking about shortly before you came on. I know you guys are proudly partnered with Papa Murphy's Park, and who knows about the relationship with you in the future when it comes to the new stadium rights. And I obviously won't get into that because I'm sure that's a very confusing, very that's a very different conversation. I just wanted to ask you, if for some reason you guys have the stadium and you do need a name, the Drive Stadium is actually or Carmichael Dave Park. I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
Kyle?
These are just suggestions. We just want to make sure everything's on the table.
And I understand this is a business, Kevin, and you're a businessman. You become very wealthy making smart decisions. So here's what we've got. We've got 5 on it. And by 5, I mean $500 up front.
I mean $5.
Right. And then $5 a month in perpetuity. Mm-hmm. And I know you have to make that presentation to Mr. Garber and the rest of the owners. I want you to know, and I'm breaking this news.
I'll bring donuts as well.
Live on the air, that we will commit, if you guys end up needing a naming rights partner, we right here will commit to $500 down and $5 a month as long as the stadium's open, Kevin. I don't know if that gets us over the hump.
$60 a year.
I don't know.
Something to think about.
They might as well sign on the dotted line right now.
Yeah.
And you want it to be named what, the Drive?
The Drive
Fields?
Yeah, the Drive.
You know what? Here's what look. I've already got a visual of it. I think you hit it right on the head. You see a beat up old rickety car, like a 1962, with Dave having one of those Clampetts hats on, right. and there's a cliff. And he's driving it, and he's got a corn pipe out of his mouth.
Exactly.
And it's just getting ready to just drive off the very top of the stadium.
That's
perfect. Into the river. I mean, hey, what better? I mean, we could work with that. I think we could work with that.
Breaking news.
Mark it down.
How about that?
Set in stone.
And none of this KCK Stadium or an 11-4. No. Specific to our show. That we're not involving any of the other shows. They haven't worked on this story as much as we have. Although, Oh Boy Stadium sounds fantastic if we want to get Grant involved. Now we can talk about that.
Yes, and I think that he's got some of those statements he can make that only Grant can do. But I do. I think that there's something that when we get offline,
right?
Let's talk to the GM of KHTK, and let's see if we can drive it.
Okay.
I have a couple of other visuals.
I don't know if we want to get into those now.
I'm not.
I'll bet you do.
guys.
I have a feeling. Kevin, we're so proud of you, and we're so proud of everything. Your ownership group, your partners, obviously Ben and that whole crew, Scott Moak, Allison, Joe Wagner, everybody. And I'm obviously forgetting people, but that have taken this little startup company, if you will, forgive the phrasing, and turned it into kept it alive, kept it going, kept it pulsing, and we'll have, I'm sure, plenty of time for high fives and accolades when and if, knock on wood, this happens. But just the fact that we're even here is pretty awesome. And I know there's a lot of work involved over the next few months, but I imagine that's going to be there's going to be a lot of smiles on people's faces as you're doing that work.
We hope so. No, it's been really a team effort. I know that sounds cliche, but it's been our team really downtown. They've just done a great job, from people that clean the office to everyone who works on game day, to the everyday, to right up to the top, to Matt Alvarez, Ben Gumpert. He mentioned Ron Burkle, to say at least how he's just been just incredible to work with, and been so influential. It's truly been a team effort. We'd be making a mistake if we didn't talk about how the mayor really stepped up and really showed leadership here. So hats off to just a whole bunch of people that we haven't even mentioned as well. So thanks for giving me the chance to even say that.
Yes, sir. That's Kevin Nagle spending some time with us on what I'm sure is going to be a very, very busy day for him and his entire crew, as they take a big step towards bringing not just MLS to Sacramento, but also a brand new downtown outdoor stadium and a district around that stadium that will just provide so many other things, new things, awesome things for people to do as our downtown continues to grow. And Kevin's been a big part of that, both with this stadium and obviously Golden One Center and the Sacramento Kings. All right, buddy, you take care, and I'll hit you up. I'll hit you up soon. Good luck, and go Republic.
You bet. You guys have a nice holiday weekend.
Yes, sir. You too. Happy Easter. That's Kevin Nagle.
You're listening to The Drive.